to take advantage of watching this presentation later, we are going to post it on our website on the Ole Miss Student Union. So if you have any questions as we're going through the presentation for today's session, we're going to kind of get through the content and then we'll answer questions towards the end. But please make sure you post them in the chat feature that you see in Zoom. We definitely want to answer anything that you might be wondering about. But then also, please feel free to save those questions for the end. We'll save probably a solid 20 minutes to ask any questions for this Get Involved presentation. So hopefully that's helpful information. Again, please take advantage of this Otter.ai if you need it. And if you're struggling to make it work, just let us know and I'll be happy to help you. All right, so let's get started with our session today. So hopefully you all can see the slides that I'm sharing for our Get Involved presentation. If you can't see it, please feel free to drop a message in the chat. But we're gonna go through this today to try and just give you a good idea of what it looks like to get involved here at the University of Mississippi. We have a lot of really great things that we like to offer our students, and we wanna make you aware of them. Coronavirus has definitely put some interesting things in place for us as we're trying to navigate all of the different things to really ensure that we still have campus engagement, but we are doing some great planning work to make sure that in the fall when you are here, we have some things in place both virtually and then in person that will keep you safe, but also keep you engaged because we want to make sure you have a great transition into college. So again, our office is located in the Ole Miss Student Union, right in the center of campus next to the Grove. We hope that once campus is operational that we'll see you, and please feel free to stop by whenever you are on campus. So first and foremost, we have a professional staff of 3. I introduced myself, Will Takewell, again, Associate Director, and then I get to work with 2 amazing individuals who help us really keep involvement and engagement going here at the University of Mississippi. Haley Anderson is our Assistant Director for Leadership Programming, but she also advises our big event, which is a one-day community service project, and then will advise our first-year experience program called First Year Encounters in our associated student body. So she is somebody that you'll probably hear a lot from. If you're attending Empower, you've probably gotten some emails from her as well because she is in charge of that for our office as well. Then Jordan Lang is our Assistant Director for Student Activities. She advises our programming board, the Student Activities Association, and then also advises our leadership and engagement ambassadors, who you will be hearing from more today, and then also they'll have a session on Thursday. But they are really tasked with helping you all find ways to get involved and really helping you connect to the campus as peer leaders. So she oversees both of those initiatives, which are massive initiatives to oversee. So make sure that she is somebody that you're reaching out to and getting to know, especially if you're looking to get involved here on campus. I work with our associated student body as one of their advisors. So if you are wondering a little bit more about student involvement in that capacity, I can answer those questions. And then I also advise our Rebelthon Dance Marathon if you have any questions about that. So, and we'll talk a little bit more in a second about all the different things that our office oversees, but we want to make sure that you're aware that we are kind of your point people for questions that you might have about getting involved in some of those different aspects of campus. We also have an amazing team of graduate assistants that work with us. We would not be able to do what we do without them. And so these are our 5 graduate assistants: Blair, Edward, Emily, Reynolds, and Jenna. They work with different functional areas within our office to really help us make sure that things are going the way that they need to. Blair serves as our grad for the Student Activities Association, so she works with Jordan to help advise them. Edward works with our associated student body, assisting with our programming. So he assists with our first year experience program, Encounters, as well as our different programs that the cabinet does. And then Emily is our graduate assistant for Rebelthon. So she helps coordinate the dance marathon and helps coordinate all of the different things that they do throughout the semester. Reynolds is our associated student body GA for finance and governance. So he works with our Senate here at the university, as well as our financial processes through the Department of the Treasury. And then Jenna works with our big event and leadership programming to help them sort of coordinate all of their different things. And she works with our Empower program with Haley. So again, they're awesome. Hopefully you'll see all 8 of our faces a lot once you're back on campus. but please reach out to any of us if you have any questions at any time. So what we do and what we like to really talk about are these three things that we provide to students here at the University of Mississippi. And regardless of where you're at in your experience, these are three things that we can provide to you. Whether you're a first-year student or a senior, or even a graduate student, we want to make sure that you're finding ways to connect and really get involved here at the university. So we have over 400 student organizations that we work with, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And really, this whole virtual involvement is going to be a great opportunity for you to get exposed to these different organizations and what they can offer you. We offer leadership opportunities to all of our students. We like to make it very clear that leadership is something that anybody can do, right? It's a practice, it's something that you learn, it's something that you can get better at, and no one is necessarily born a leader. It's a skill set that you have to develop, and you have to make sure that you're taking the time to truly know what that identity means if you take it on. And then finally, our campus activities. We do a lot of activities for our student body, everything in a regular year or what we're used to when we're not having to socially distance, from concerts to laser tag, to our silent discos that seem to be very popular. People love them, and we're looking forward to when we can offer those again. But we do a ton of events through our SAA each year, as well as involvement fairs, to try and help you find ways that you can get involved here on campus. But you don't necessarily have to join a student organization to be a part of something through our Student Activities Association and through some of the other programs and services that our office offers. So moving right along, we want to make sure that you know that there is a reason behind getting involved, right? What we know is that students who are involved during their college career are 3 times more likely to graduate within 5 years than their counterparts who do not get involved on campus. Campus involvement helps you to build some of those allegiances to your university, but then also really helps to enhance your experience, because a lot of times the things that you might be doing in these experiences will help enhance your experience in the classroom. So we want to make sure that you know that by getting involved, you can help yourself, but then you can also find ways to really give back to the University of Mississippi community, as well as the Oxford and Lafayette County. We want to make sure that you know that getting involved is a way to make a difference, but then it's also something that can help you really sustain yourself here at the university. Finally, this idea of creating community is something that is very near and dear to our hearts here in the Leadership and Engagement Office within the Student Union, because we know that you are responsible for building your community here at the university. We have seen a lot of really great things come out of our organizations who work together. They build coalitions around important issues on campus, but then they're also able to really sort of network with one another, get to know each other, and do some really amazing things. So we want you to think about it from the why, and then really finding your place, your space, and your people to help you make this university work for you. So again, kind of highlighting what I said a moment ago, but there was a 2008 national survey of student engagement that found higher levels of engagement in a variety of curricular and co-curricular activities significantly and positively contribute to cumulative GPA and students' perception of the overall academic experience at their institution. So what that means, again, kind of going back to what I said a moment ago, it just means that we know that student involvement exists on college campuses because it's there to enhance your experience. I always joke with people that I majored in being involved as a student when I was an undergrad, because I was just so in love with involvement. And I started going to school in 2007 and just never really left, and got a master's degree in working with college students. So I think it's really cool that I get to live that experience, but for you all, regardless of what your major might be, regardless of what you're choosing to do, you have an opportunity to enhance what you're doing in the classroom and improving your overall academic experience by getting involved. So we have over 400 student organizations here at the University of Mississippi, and counting. We have new student organizations that are popping up all of the time and registering with our office, but we have about 20 different categories that these groups can fall into based on interest groups. So you're gonna get to meet a lot of these groups throughout the week if you participate in the different sessions that we're offering to you, but we wanna make sure that you're aware that there are so many different opportunities to get involved. and give you the opportunity to really search for some of that stuff. And I'll talk about how you can do that in a minute. But 400 student organizations and the ability to create your own student group if you find that there's something that's just not here, that there's maybe a void in some of our student involvement at the university, we want to encourage you and help you to create your own student organization. And it's a pretty quick and easy process. You just have to find an advisor at the university to work with your group. And then you have to have six of you sort of found your group and create bylaws and constitution that can then be uploaded into our student engagement portal. Once you've done all of that, we work with you to get you registered and get you ready and do some of the training stuff that you need to know. So it's a pretty quick process and it's pretty easy. And that's something that we enjoy, is our students can really sort of define what they want their involvement experience to look like by even creating their own student groups. So what we have here at the University of Mississippi to help us navigate all of these different involvement and engagement opportunities is called the Forum. So if you want to, if you're on your laptop, you can take your phone out and you can look at this as we sort of go. But olemiss.edu/forum is where you can go to really see all of the different things that we have here for involvement at the university. You should have actually gotten a little bit familiarized with Forum, because the link that took you to the form to fill out your participation in this week's activities was actually housed in the Forum. So you've already used it, so congratulations. But what's really neat about the Forum is that it puts all of this stuff at your fingertips, so you can figure out what organizations you might want to be a part of, who you might want to contact to learn a little bit more about getting involved in some things, and then to see what events are going on every day here on campus that student organizations have registered. So I want to show you some of the functionality of the Forum really quickly. We are working on posting some videos now to our website that will give you a little bit more insight into how to utilize the Forum, but this is sort of a quick training to give you some ideas on how you can navigate it. So first and foremost, how do I find some organizations to join? Yes, we want you to find some organizations to join. So what you do is you go to the olemiss.edu Forum link, and then what you can do is you click on organizations at the top after you log in with your Ole Miss credentials. So that's the same thing that you use to get into your My Ole Miss account, same thing you use to access your email. All of that stuff has been made really easy and functional for our student users. So you just log in and you can click on organizations. And then what that will allow you to do is to go through and pick different categories of groups. Again, we have something like 20 different categories of organizations. And what the Forum will do then is pull up the different organizations that are a part of that category. So again, really cool features, and we want to make sure you're aware of how to search for organizations. You can spend a lot of time looking through the different profiles for our student groups, and you can also spend some time contacting them if you're interested in doing that. So what you can do is, if you want to join an organization, you can click the join button when you're on that profile, but you can also contact the president or the primary contact for each of our organizations in the Forum just by clicking this contact button over here. So that will send an email to them automatically to let them know you're interested, and they might reach back out to you to say, hey, we're not just like accepting everybody right now, but we're going to have a meeting soon to allow people to ask us more questions about getting involved. Or maybe they're going to be hosting something to where you can sign up to get involved in an organization, but they may not just admit you automatically if you click the join button. So make sure you're reaching out to our student groups beforehand. And if you're having any issues getting in contact with people, let us know through our Get Involved email, which I'll share with y'all in a second. The other thing that we want to make sure students are aware of is that we do have a Universal Student Organizations event calendar. It obviously looks a little interesting right now since we're not having any on-campus events, but if you click on the events link that you'll see at the top left-hand corner of your Forum homepage, you can then go to see events that are happening on campus. Maybe it's a meeting that you could attend. Maybe it's a program that they're doing that you can go see to sort of check out what they're all about. But we want to encourage you to utilize both of those features so you can get to know some of our student groups and really get comfortable with seeking out information about how to get involved here on campus in our 400+ student organizations. So the other thing that we have that's really neat and we'll be really launching this upcoming semester is our event pass feature within the forum. So all of our student organizations this semester will be checking students in for different events and programs that they're hosting, utilizing this QR check-in feature on the forum. So every single student automatically has an event pass that you can actually save to your wallet on your phone. I can't remember what it's called for Android. I apologize. I've been using an iPhone for like too many years now. But anyway, if you click on what looks like a Rubik's Cube in your profile here at the top, it will show you an event pass that you can utilize to check into different events and to make sure that you're getting tracked for all of these different things that you're attending. We have a really neat co-curricular transcript that will show what you've attended. So maybe you forgot that, back in your first year of college, you attended an involvement fair. Well, this will pull it automatically and remind you when you're in your senior year, like, oh, I did attend that involvement fair. Maybe I learned something while I was there, or, your different student organization events and meetings that you attended. It will track all of that for you if you are getting scanned in at the different events and programs that you're attending. So it's a really neat feature that we want to make sure that all of our students are aware of and really utilizing to really help track their involvement experience. So we're going to transition a little bit into talking a little bit more about some of our organizations that are here in leadership and engagement within the Ole Miss Student Union, because these 5 organizations offer different ways to get involved that don't necessarily mean you have to join them, right? They do different programming and they do different events that you might want to attend at some point in your college career without necessarily having to join something. Now, I will say these are 5 really awesome organizations to get involved with. And so we do want to encourage you to, if you are very interested in some of the things that these groups do, we want to encourage you to try and go out for them, get involved with them, all of that good stuff. But it's by no means a requirement for you to be a member of these organizations in order to attend some of the events that they're going to be putting on. So we're going to go through and tell you a little bit more about SAA, Rebelthon, the big event, ASB, and our L&E ambassadors, which is our newest group under leadership and engagement. So let's get started first and foremost with the Student Activities Association. So as I mentioned earlier, Jordan Lang is our advisor to this group, and they do so much on campus each year. Again, looks a little bit different this year because of COVID-19, but they are working actively right now and actually planning out what our Welcome Week is going to look like for fall 2020. The combination of some in-person events as well as virtual activities for all of our incoming students and current students to participate in. But they are the student group that is responsible for Welcome Week, like I mentioned, Ole Miss Idol, Homecoming, SAA Unplugged, which is an event that happens out on the Student Union Plaza and involves some of our different student organizations that either dance, sing, or do some different performances, as well as Hotty Toddy Holidays and many, many other things. All of their events are free to University of Mississippi students. So awesome, right? You get to attend free movies, free concerts, all of those different things each year that they program all of them. So they're located here in our student union. They're always seeking guidance and sort of advice from students on what do you want to see. So make sure that if you have any creative ideas for programming, let them know. Engage with them on social media, all of that good stuff. They do a great job of posting different polls and things for students to participate in. So make sure you're following them on all of their social media channels. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about Rebelthon. For those of you who may have some familiarity with this, Rebelthon is the organization that houses our university's dance marathon, where we give back and raise awareness for Children's of Mississippi, or the Blair E. Batson Children's Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi. So each year, Rebelthon puts on a variety of events and programs to help fundraise for the Children's Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi. They have done a great job of raising over $1.2 million since we started Rebelthon Dance Marathon about 6 years ago. So it's a really great opportunity for you to get engaged in some philanthropic activities here at the University of Mississippi. Probably the highlight of this experience is that at the end of the year, or really in February of each year of Rebelthon, there is what is called the Dance Marathon, and it is a 12-hour-long event where you have different programs and you learn a morale dance, and you do all of these great things to help raise awareness for the Children's Hospital. It's a fun time. We encourage students to participate in it. They are doing a lot of work around making sure that any student can really participate, because no matter how much money you're raising, you're giving money back to a really awesome cause that impacts a lot of people in Mississippi, because Jackson is the only children's hospital in Mississippi. So we support our state's hospital and have been able to do some really cool things through that. They're also very active on social media, so we encourage you to follow them and make sure that you are paying attention to what they have going on. We're actively working on figuring out what our 2021 dance marathon will look like based on our restrictions that we have for COVID-19. But that is supposed to be February 20th, 2021. So be on the lookout for more information. And if you're interested, please reach out to these students about getting involved in that. And they will be at our panel meeting later at 1 o'clock if you want to ask any specific questions. So will SAA. Sorry, all of these organizations will. So next, big event. So this is a really awesome way that our students give back each year to the Oxford community. Unfortunately for 2020, we did have to cancel a big event, which was really sad because it is the largest day of service in the state of Mississippi. So we have thousands of students come together to do a variety of service projects in the Oxford and Lafayette County areas and really give back to a community that's given a lot to us. One of the things that you'll notice about being a student at the University of Mississippi is that Oxford really is our home, and we take that seriously, and we want to make sure that we're doing a lot to give back to the people who live here, as well as to the different industries and services that exist here. So a big event, you have the opportunity as a student to register to participate in the day-long service project, coming together to really sort of go out and do some great projects. We allow teams to sign up and do all of that work to then go out into the community and spend a few hours doing some service for our community. We give you, a lot of our events involve free t-shirts with the big event, as well as all of our different departments. So like if you're looking for t-shirts, we are your people. But then also you get the opportunity to really see some of the things that exist here in our community and to really help change some of that stuff. So if you have questions about big event, they will also be on our call later at 1, but they will also be very active on social media. They already are. So make sure you're checking them out too, just to ask any questions that you might have or to learn a little bit more about big event. We are really hoping to be able to have our 2021 big event. I'm hopeful about it, but we will see as sort of things happen with coronavirus and what we know once we get there. So up next, we have our Associated Student Body, or ASB. And so what ASB exists to do is to create advocacy for students between the student body and our administration here on campus. ASB is extremely active here at the University of Mississippi, just about everything that sort of goes on. So we want to make sure that you know, as a first-year student, we have a few different ways that you can get involved, from participating in our Welcome Week that ASB will host. And they will also be hosting Creed Week, where you get to learn a little bit more about the University of Mississippi's creed and what it means to be a student here at Ole Miss. But then further, thinking about all of the different ways that you might be able to get involved in our first-year Encounters program that we have through ASB. So you've probably gotten some information potentially about the program, but if not, you can ask some questions later today at the session we will have with ASB as part of the panel. But we want to make sure that all first-year students know that ASB is something here for you to really make sure that you have a good experience. You can get involved with our Encounters program. You can get involved with the legislative council that exists, with our legislative aides and the legislative branch. And there are also some other ways to get involved in the other branches that ASB has as well. Then finally, our newest initiative here at the University of Mississippi within Leadership and Engagement is our Leadership and Engagement Ambassadors. So they will actually be hosting 2 individual sessions where you can learn a little bit more about Leadership and Engagement Ambassadors and how you can utilize them to help you get involved and really find what you might want to be involved in here on campus. So they will do a variety of workshops and different seminars to help you sort of learn more about what involvement looks like here at the university and they can provide you with a one-on-one consultation once the fall starts to really help you narrow down some of your ideas of what involvement might look like and give you an idea of what you might want to get involved in here at the University of Mississippi. So they're a great group, very energetic, of 17 student leaders who are really here to make sure that your college experience is the best that it can possibly be from the student involvement standpoint. They will be participating in our session at 1 o'clock, but then they will also host something at 3:30 just about leadership and engagement ambassadors. So we really encourage you all to attend that if you can and you're able, because we want to make sure that you're getting this information from them, because this is the student experience. And I'm a full-time staff member, so I'm telling you things, but they are students and they can really give you the information that you're looking to get about getting involved here on campus. They're also active on social media, on Facebook and Instagram if you want to follow them, so you can keep up with some of their information as things are happening. And we are hoping to launch all of our involvement consultation stuff during Welcome Week, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested in scheduling a call with them. So we want to talk a little bit about leadership, because it's not only in our department's name, but it's something that we truly think is important for all students to really start seeing themselves as a leader, because leadership is something that anyone can do. It is a learned trait, it's a learned skill, because we want to make sure that that you can be a leader in the classroom, in a student organization, with your family at home, whatever that might look like for you. It is something that can be applied to every single one of you on this call. So we believe that leadership is a process rather than a set of characteristics. It is building capacity to solve problems, demonstrate values, and thrive in a changing and challenging world. This is how we go about defining what our leadership experiences look like for students. But then also, anytime we are thinking about a program or a service, we are thinking about this definition and how it can be truly helpful for our student leaders here on campus. It is definitely something that anyone can learn. It is something that is based on any position that you might have in life. And so we try to build programs and services that can help enhance that for you all. So we offer a variety of leadership opportunities here at the University of Mississippi through leadership and engagement. This includes Empower, which is our extended orientation for entering students. Unfortunately, we are at our cap for this program for the summer because of coronavirus, unfortunately, but we are excited for the students who are coming to attend this that are new students just like you all. But we also offer additional programs throughout the year with our Pulse Leadership Conference, and we have many more that we're planning and working on as we're sort of getting ready to start 2020-2021. We also offer different registered student organization leadership workshops that student groups can contact us about coming in to facilitate. And then we do a lot of Clifton Strengths work, which I'll talk about here in a second, to really help coach you to figure out what it is that makes you tick and how you can make that really your goal for yourself to bring you to all these different organizations that you want to be involved in. We also offer a variety of opportunities for you all to get involved. So each of the 5 organizations that I just talked about has executive boards and leadership opportunities that you can get involved in and apply for. And so we want to make sure that we're helping you get ready for that. And our team is helping answer any questions that you might have as you're preparing to apply for leadership in different student organizations, or for one of the 5 organizations that might be housed here in the student union. So again, we're constantly growing this area. We're a new department. We've only been in existence for a little over a year now. And so we're always asking questions of students to find out more about what we can offer you to really help you grow in your leadership and involvement opportunities. So as I mentioned, StrengthsFinder, we want to give you a little bit of information about this too. This is something that any student can participate in. And we've had a lot of our student organizations take advantage of this, but StrengthsFinder is from Gallup, which is a surveying and analytics company that has 34 different themes that any student or any person really can learn a little bit more about themselves and how they tick. And so we give you an assessment. It's a pretty intensive assessment. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes to complete, But the really cool thing is that it gives you different themes about yourself that we can then talk through and coach you through to help you really understand a little bit more about who you are as an individual, how you show up on teams, how you do your work, all of those different things that make you who you are. So we offer different strengths trainings through registered student organizations, but then we also do workshops for our student organizations that ask us to bring them in. And then we can also do individualized coaching sessions where you meet one-on-one with one of our team members to talk about your strengths and get a little bit more insight into who you are based on those different themes that came up in your report. So this is really awesome. We've been doing this since January of this year, and we've had some great conversations with people, and we're excited to see what can happen as we get more and more students involved in this. So I want to offer up the different ways that you can connect with our office and with our different student organizations. If you want to go ahead and follow us on Facebook or Instagram or even Twitter, we would love to have you. But then we also want to invite you to visit our office when you are back on campus. The Student Union will be hopefully opening for operations again pretty soon. We will be sharing that information when we have it on our social media because we're really excited to have our students back on campus and we're hopeful about the fall. But as things change, we will sort of keep people updated through our different social media platforms. And then we will also make sure to be sending you all emails about things as things are happening. If you haven't gotten in the habit yet, make sure you're checking your email 2 or 3 times a day because there's a lot of really important stuff that's coming out, not only about your academics, but about all the other fun stuff too. So make sure you're checking your email and make sure you're paying attention to what's coming out from the university. So at this point, I've talked a whole lot. This is one of the unfortunate things about doing a presentation over Zoom. But I want to offer up the opportunity if anybody has any questions for you to ask them, just because we want to make sure that we're giving you an opportunity to really engage with us and ask any questions that you might have. If you have questions about the week, feel free to ask those or any questions about what was just shared in the presentation. And it's okay. I know it's still early on a Monday morning. All right, so Jennifer, you asked about how do we get access to StrengthsFinder. That's a great question. So what we currently have and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post a link to our website so you can learn a little bit more about StrengthsFinder exactly. But the way we've been doing it right now is we've been doing a lot of our training sessions through the student organizations that we have here at Ole Miss. And so a lot of our student groups will sign up their entire, organization to participate in getting codes for themselves to take the assessment. And so there is a cost associated with it right now. We're working on some things to hopefully one day not have to have people individually pay for their codes. But one of the best ways that you can do this is to get involved in a student organization. And then you can actually talk to the student org leaders about saying, hey, we have this really cool thing called StrengthsFinder here at the University of Mississippi. I think we should do a training for some of our members. And then you can actually apply for funding through the ASB funding process for student organizations to get codes paid for, or pretty much all the way paid for. It's about $20 to take the assessment. So you would work with us, either myself or Haley Anderson, who's the Assistant Director for Leadership Programming, to get your code secured. And then we could do a one-on-one consultation with you after you've gotten your code and taken the assessment. So if you are interested, you can contact us. There's an email for StrengthsFinder where we would get back to you to answer any more questions that you might have. But thank you for asking that question. Good one. Yeah, so Douglas, great question. Posting or notifying about application dates for different organizations in the fall. We will be doing our best to make sure that we are making you all aware of different involvement opportunities. When we come back for the fall, we won't have our typical huge involvement fair that happens over 2 days, but we're gonna have a series of different smaller involvement fairs that'll take place where social distancing can happen. And so what that will look like is our student organizations that participate in that will have all of the information about their application dates and how you can get involved with their groups. One of the best things that you can do too is just really get comfortable with the forum, because we're going to be asking them to make sure that they're posting different information about how to get involved in their organizations and the different dates for getting involved in those groups. Things are going to be very flexible for the fall from a lot of our student groups because they still want you to get involved. And so they're going to make sure that they're communicating a lot of stuff out, but we will make sure to have that posted on our website as well as in the forum so you can know more about what those are looking like. And a lot of the groups that are participating in this week will have more information about how to get involved with them and some of those different dates for the fall. But that's a really great question. So coming at you in a couple of different ways. So just make sure to be checking your email because we'll be sending stuff out about those involvement dates and how you can get involved with different groups. Great question. And yes, great question, Taylor. All the sessions will be recorded for this week and will be posted on our Get Involved page on the Student Union website if you want to check those out later or if you have any additional questions. So one question that we get a lot of times from students is this question about feeling overwhelmed by being too involved. And you're right, there is something that can be a little overwhelming about all this stuff and the information that we've just sort of thrown at you in this session. Because your first year of college can be kind of overwhelming. There's a lot of transitions happening. There's a lot of stuff going on. You're also doing it in a pandemic. So like we need to honor that fact first and foremost, because it's going to be a very strange and different fall for all of us. And starting college in this time has got to feel a little overwhelming. But one of the things that we want to encourage you to do is to join student organizations, not for the purpose of like filling out your resume, but for finding people that you really connect with and connecting to programs and initiatives that really speak to you as an individual. So we want to find things that are going to make you feel better about your experience here in the fall and in this first year of college than making you feel stressed out or sort of overwhelmed. So one of the ways that you can navigate that as an incoming student is to really join maybe 2 or 3 things, right? Maybe 2, maybe 3, depending on where you're at and sort of what your course load is looking like, to really find those things that truly actually are going to help enhance your college experience. Joining 6 or 7 things or different organizations in your first year of college, that's a lot to put on your plate. Even joining 4 things in your first semester is a lot to put on your plate. So in your fall semester, it's important to really identify 2 or 3 things that you feel really passionate about and go after them and pursue them, but then making sure that you're putting your academics and other things first. So don't overwhelm yourself with too much, because once you get here and once you see the 400 plus ways that you can get involved, you're going to probably feel like, oh, dang, there's a lot of stuff that I want to get involved in. There's a lot of stuff that I want to do. But we really need you to sort of take a step back and really think critically, like, what are those things that I can get involved in and really take on maybe like a leadership position or do something like that? And what are these other things that, maybe I don't want to say I'm going to be a member this year, but I do want to attend some of the programs that they might put on or some of the events that they might put on. So really navigating that. Great question. Yeah, if you don't join an organization in the fall, can you decide to join in the spring? Yes. So some of our groups may not offer different spring involvement experiences, thinking a lot about fraternity and sorority life. They have sort of different intake processes and recruitment processes, but our other student organizations, a lot of them do have membership opportunities on a revolving basis. And so that's a great question to ask to some of the student organizations that you might be interested in joining. If I decide not to join in the fall, can I join in the spring? That's a completely valid question to ask them because a lot of our groups will do membership drives in the fall and in the spring. A lot of our academic groups will do that, our special interest organizations, some of our different groups that offer things in the spring too when they need more help with some of the events that they might put on. They'll sort of do some additional recruitment in the spring. But a lot of our groups are really awesome and just sort of leave it up to, you can kind of just reach out to them. And whenever you're interested in getting involved, they can find a way for you to get involved. So that's a great question. All right. So we will have this recorded and posted for later too, just in case you want to go back and look at this session. And we will make sure to email out to all of you who did sign up the link to the website to where you can learn a little bit more. Feel free, like if you have a friend who's coming to school with you this fall and they didn't sign up, if you want to send them the information, we're still allowing people to join in because we don't want to keep this information from anybody, or you can refer them to the website. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. We hope that it was helpful. We hope that we gave you some good information. We're really excited about the fall, even though it looks a little different from what we're used to. But we're hopeful that we're going to get some great things happening for you all to really welcome you to campus and give you the experience that you deserve as an incoming student at the University of Mississippi. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You should have our contact information. But we hope to see you at some of our later sessions this week. And we really hope that it will help you navigate this involvement experience. All right. Have a great rest of the morning and a great day. Thank you.